Welcome to the Walking Dead UK podcast. It's Entertainment Talks podcast for Fear the Walking Dead on AMC. I'm your host Matthew and this is for season 6 episode 2. Welcome to the club. I thought this was a pretty good episode. Yeah, I liked what they did here. Thought it was quite good, quite entertaining. Some new interesting characters that got introduced that fit pretty well into the story. You know, we got Virginia's sister, I believe, called Dakota. We had the guy who got killed by Strand as well. Well, he's not really a new interesting addition because he's dead in the story already, but it was strange because I was watching this episode and thinking like, oh, this is quite a good start to the season, like quite a good season premiere. And then I remembered, oh yeah, we had the Morgan episode. It's strange because, I mean, usually with, I can't think of too many TV shows actually that have either had pilot episodes or season premiere episodes that are bottle episodes. So yeah, it was interesting because this kind of did feel a bit like a season premiere, and it's kind of interesting because I look at the Morgan episode now from last week and kind of think like, all right, that's almost like a special bridge between episodes of explaining like the cliffhanger of last season and sort of going pretty well into this season. So the episode does still fit well where it fits, but this episode just felt like a season premiere as well. But excuse me. But no, quite a good episode this week, I thought. As I've been saying in the last couple of weeks about zombie set pieces, what a great way to open up the episode. You got all this like grease and stuff and all this sticky stuff that's behind this garage door sort of thing, this like metal door and everything. And you know, these sheriff guys get caught out, and everyone apart from this guy get themselves killed. And of course he dies later on. But no, I thought that was a brilliant start to the episode. And you've got, because I'm guessing the idea was this guy lifts the gate up. They have to clear them out in order to earn their keep or something. And then they all basically get killed in the end, which I thought was kind of cool. One of the really interesting things to me in this episode, and this might seem like a small little thing, but it was when the sheriffs were getting caught out by the walkers. They've been calling them something else in Walking Dead World Beyond, but the walkers in the episode, and you had two different set pieces where that happened in this episode, and it's just interesting because you look at this camp full of people, and you've got like our group, you know, Alicia, Strand, Daniel, and some of the others as well. And they're like not as well equipped, and they've got little weapons here and there and that sort of thing. And these sheriffs have got like rifles and assault rifles, but they still kind of ended up getting caught out in the end. I thought that was just kind of really interesting of how you've essentially got this camp of sheriffs that are keeping an eye on these I guess they're pretty much prisoners. They're basically wearing these sort of makeshift prison outfits with like numbers and stuff on them. And you would kind of think, looking at a place like that, of like, okay, the sheriffs have kind of got this place buttoned down, but they clearly haven't. And especially the second like really long set piece, I mean, you've almost got two set pieces in there. That was really, really good. And then you've got like these little gate things that are like get knocked over, and then they use them as shields. I thought that was really, really cool. So as somebody who really likes zombie stuff, zombie, you know, TV shows, games, films and whatever, zombie sort of entertainment, I really, really enjoyed that from this episode. I thought that was great. And it just goes to kind of show, I mean, it's taken 3 different Walking Dead shows to kind of get there, but you can come up with fresh ideas. And I mean, we've probably seen similar things. You know, we've had 10 episodes of the main series of The Walking Dead, and then 2 episodes of the new one, and 6 seasons of this so far. But yeah, there is always different things you can kind of do to set up zombie set pieces, or even if you use the same things but in a different way. Because I can't really recall too many times where like a bunch of prisoners have been asked to like clear this particular area, and then that goes to shit and everything. So I thought that was great. Let's move on to the characters a little bit, because I've kind of talked about the sort of episode itself. and some parts of that. Strand, big change for him. He kills that guy who survived at the start. His name began with I think. I was trying to remember his name a dozen times in this episode. It does get said quite a few times. Ishmael, is it? I think it's Ishmael, yeah. But I'm sure it begins with I. Yeah, it's very interesting the way they're connecting sort of three characters together, right? Because you got Daniel, who has got, let's say, selective amnesia, in a way. And what I mean by selective is what the writers choose to do, basically, because he remembers Morgan clear as day at the end of this episode. He kind of remembers Skidmark, I think, the cat that he had. He remembers how to cut people's hair really well, but he doesn't remember Alicia and Strand and the other girl. He taught her to play that instrument. Doesn't remember any of that, but he remembers Morgan as if he met him, as if he's known him for 10 years. Interesting stuff there. I did like... Did I like it? The way that they're trying to connect, basically, because Daniel kept saying to Strand in the previous seasons about, okay, you should try and remember who you are, and now Daniel can't remember who Strand is, and Strand is trying to remember who he is. You know, this whole Walking Dead personality kind of thing that we've had in the past with various different characters, and he kills this guy, this Ishmael guy, in order to save everyone, but he didn't need to kill him. He sort of sacrificed him without his permission. It's not. It's completely the opposite to like if Ishmael turned around and said like, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to the dead. It's like, no, you're gonna do this, and just stabs him, and then that's it. So, is this the way the show kind of trying to say, okay, Strand's trying to remember who he is, so he's changing who he is so he can be a new person, and trying to tie that into, Ishmael being this sacrificial person, or the sacrifice, sorry, of the episode, and then Daniel not remembering who he is, or not remembering certain things, including who Strand is, and then Strand can't remember who he is, so he's trying to change himself, so he's turning more villainous in a way. Not quite sure where they're going, and that's kind of reminding me of some of that Morgan Claire kind of storyline, and The Walking Dead isn't very good at doing those sorts of things of like, okay, who am I now, and I need to find myself and all this sort of stuff. Those storylines can be quite good, but The Walking Dead doesn't have a very good history of doing that. So I'm a bit cautious as to where that's going and how much screen time it's going to take up, etc, etc. So that was kind of interesting. What else did you have in this episode?
Hey there, I'm Aaron Holman, host of Eye to Eye, a weekly podcast talk show all about passion.
I have this passion and this fire within me that burns brighter than the fire around me.
Flow.
With performing, there's always a story to tell, whether it's my own or not.
And creativity.
I go, he's more than cute, he's creative.
All with an LGBT twist. Make sure to check out Eye to Eye, that's EYE, number 2, letter I. And rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in today.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Koalu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Koalu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon, there's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. I guess, yeah, so you've got Virginia, who's got this new camp set up and everything, and she's trying to kind of take charge and that sort of thing. She's very, very commanding, and I was trying to work out in this episode what type of villain is she, because we've seen 3 or 4 different types of villains in the main Walking Dead. We've seen, well, one villain really in the World Beyond show, because we've only had 3 episodes of it. She sort of does come across, not personality-wise, but tactics-wise, she comes across as a Negan. Someone who's trying to, a recruiter. Someone who, okay, she'll kill you if you get out of line, but she wants to recruit you and build this massive camp and build this community, and there's certain things in this episode that kind of made me think of that. And yeah, taking people against their will, obviously, you know, we're in a different world, aren't we? Because, you know, this isn't run like a normal society, because there is no law or any sort of world or any sort of authority per se. Not like we've got in the real world, of course. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, her trying to sort of take on this recruiter type role. I thought that was kind of cool, so I'd be alright with her sticking around until, I think, the end of the season. I don't think they're doing, I think I read somewhere a few months ago that they're not doing a mid-season finale, so I'm expecting her to be a villain for all 16 episodes. So we'll see how that works out, but she's quite cool at the moment. I think she's doing pretty good. So this was, it's funny, because last week we had the Morgan bottle episode. This week's almost like a bottle episode, but in one place, because you do have a lot of characters in there, but it's all based around this what would you call it, this sort of detention sort of thing of like, okay, if you do a crime, or we want you to if we want you to prove yourself, or you've done a crime or something, you'll be put in front of this gate to clear these walkers. And that was the main focus of the episode, which, again, like I said, led to some really, really great set pieces that I loved. And it was very interesting to see how the characters would deal with all the different stuff in that. So really enjoyed that with this episode. Don't have anything else really to say about the main parts of the episodes. I don't think too much of the sheriffs yet. A couple of them were given names, but no one that really sort of sticks out necessarily. And most of them actually died. So I suppose the only other thing I've got to talk about then is the end of the episode. So Morgan shows up with his new he's not Morgan Jones, is he? He's has he said what he's supposed to be now? He's just not Morgan Jones. He hasn't said who he is now, I suppose, but he's still Morgan Jones, played by Lenny James. Yeah, turning up in his cowboy hat. Now there's one problem with the end of this episode, but it leads to an interesting end of the episode, so I'm going to kind of excuse it. Why would that sheriff leave Daniel in that cart on his own when he could ride off, go somewhere, he could do a whole number of things on his own? Because he says to this sheriff guard or whatever, oh, I left my good pair of scissors back there, wherever in cabin or whatever. And yeah, it's just, he leaves him there and he just walks back to the camp, and then Daniel just basically walks off. Daniel could just run and just go wherever he wants. And then he hears something in the bushes. I think that he thinks it's Skidmark or something. Come to find him, and then obviously there's a walker that shows up, and Morgan kills the walker. not quite sure what to think of this new version of Morgan yet. I guess we'll see more of him in the coming weeks. I am really glad, however, we didn't spend 4 episodes with the rest of the group and then Morgan comes back or whatever. He's here now, basically, which is quite good. He's not just off doing something and we have no idea where he is. So it's a good job in terms of pacing for that, because we're not really wondering. I mean, I guess we're wondering about some of the other half of the characters. But in terms of Morgan connecting back to at least a part of the main group of the characters, he's there with Daniel now. So yeah, that's quite good as well. Yeah, they shake hands. They clearly remember each other, like they're the best of friends. So interesting end to the episode. We'll see where things go from there. So I thought this week's episode of Fear Walking Dead was pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to really go on for this episode. Interesting set pieces, interesting new characters, an interesting new camp that's sort of been set up. We'll see what the group can do in order to get away. I'm a bit nervous about where they're going with Strand's storyline and him becoming a new person or whatever's going on there. I don't know. You've got 2 characters. One who says he's not the person who he is, Morgan Jones. He's not Morgan Jones, but he still is. He's just a new version of Morgan. And then you got Strand, who's gonna Victor Strand, who's trying to find a new version of himself. And then you've got Daniel, who is trying to remember anything really, apart from he knows who Morgan is, he knows how to do a haircut, and that's about it really. So a couple of interesting things to go on for the rest of the season. We'll see how it all works out. But what were your thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, concerns about this episode of Fear the Walking Dead? Where do you think some of the things I mentioned are going? What did you think of the set pieces? What do you think of the fact that Strand murdered an innocent person when he didn't need to? He lies to Alicia as well, because he says, he chose to sacrifice himself, and I'm like, no, that's completely the opposite of what happened. You killed him. Well, you didn't kill him, you injured him so that he could die. You basically killed him because you led him to his death. I mean, Ishmael, I think that was his name, he didn't deserve that, to be like ripped apart on the floor. Like, damn, that's I mean, it's good in a way because it puts a certain level of stakes in there, I suppose, but just a little bit nervous as to where that's going. Is he going to try and stab someone else or do something else to someone? I don't know. We'll see where it all goes and works out. It feels like there's a really, really big chunk of this season left, and yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous pacing-wise as to where they're kind of going with certain things, because we still have 14 episodes left of the season. And I do think it would really help if they had a mid-season break, just so you could have 8 episodes, do a normal break, and then 8. I don't know, 16 weeks just feels like a long time for any Walking Dead show to sort of be on for consistently. So we will see where it goes and how it all works out in the end. But like I said, Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK, there's a contact page and information in your show notes. Let me know how you're feeling about things for this season. I don't think I missed anything particularly noteworthy, but yeah, interesting stuff going on. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me. You can find everything else that we do on entertainmenttalk.org. If you want to support the podcast and Entertainment Talk, that would be great. That would be really, really helpful as well. There's plenty of different options for you. The first one is Patreon. We are on there. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for instant ad-free podcast and review options. Amazon affiliate link, that's where you can shop on Amazon. We can get a small cut. It won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds, you can search for Entertainment Talk on your favourite podcast platform. If we're not on your favourite podcast platform, please let us know so that we can be on there, I suppose. But you can search for Entertainment Talk on your favourite podcast platform and subscribe, rate and review us. That would be really, really good as well. Word of mouth, you can simply tell people that you know about the website and the iTunes feeds. Social media, Facebook, Twitter and different Facebook groups. If you can share them around on that, that would be really great as well. David, of course, runs Geektown, geektown.co.uk. That's for your up-to-date, reliable TV and film news. Geektown Radios gets released on Tuesday, so look out for a new episode tomorrow. so that will be cool as well. You can search for Geektown on podcast platforms to subscribe to that, or check out geektown.co.uk throughout the week. Bex is on Twitch streaming daily. Check her out, Trista Bytes, Trista Bytes. Go and search for her, subscribe, follow what she's doing on there. Lots of cool stuff happening, so go and follow her over there. And lastly, check out Let's Play Sunday episodes released on Sundays. There's 57 of them, so you can have a good look through those as well. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week for episode 3. We'll see where things go. I predict that we will see the other side of the group next week, and hopefully it will be like 3 parts of the story coming together. You start with Morgan, then you have Alicia's group, I'm going to call them that, and then you have everybody else. Hopefully they'll all connect together very soon, and we can get the show on the road. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.